Well, hello there, welcome along and a very happy new year to you. My name's Steve Hyland. Joining me today on Business Connections Live, our New Year edition, is our executive producer, Linda Bazant. Linda, lovely to have you with us on the programme.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be here.
We thought we'd put you in front of the camera for a change, but what is more important about this show is that we thought we'd look back at the year. It's been an interesting year for Business Connections Live, hasn't it?
It has. We've had some amazing guests, and what's been great about 2015 is the array of different subjects that we've been able to cover this year.
And that's what's so wonderful about Business Connections Live. Every week you get a programme that is cram-packed full of information. We're talking to all sorts of different business people. We're talking to entrepreneurs, we're talking to SME owners, we're talking to solopreneurs, we're talking to people that are in business. If you're in business, we hope you found the programme useful. So what we're going to do on this show, as Linda has just said, we're going to look back at some of the interesting guests that we've had. In fact, they've all been interesting. Fascinating insights from them all. We're going to look back at some of our favourites from the last 12 months or so. And we're going to kick off with a young lady who joined us on the programme a little while back, Entrepreneur of the Year, or at least Female Entrepreneur of the Year. Absolutely stunning, wasn't she?
She was. She was an amazing and forthright woman.
And I think the thing that was about her as well, she was inspirational, wasn't she?
She certainly was.
Because it hadn't been an easy thing for her getting to where she had been.
She'd had some difficult times, but she's really pulled through, and she's out front there showing everyone how it needs to be done. Entrepreneur
of the Year, her name is Kate Lester.
Hi, my name is Kate Lester and I'm the proud founder and CEO of Diamond Logistics. We're the UK's fastest growing courier company, and we enable businesses to deliver, whether it's parcels, their promises, or indeed their profits too. Now, as my takeaway for you guys as entrepreneurs, there's three key messages I really hope you take from today. Number one is, if you want a super successful business, then please make sure that your product and serviceable is saleable. And please make sure that you are the person that takes control of that sales pipeline, because nobody will care about it as passionately as you do. The other thing is that if you're looking at scaling your business, then you have to make sure that your mission, belief, and indeed your ethics are at the heart of what you're trying to do, because when you're trying to replicate your service, you want to make sure that all the stakeholders believe in that as passionately as you do. And number three, think of your role as chief talent spotter, because if you pick the dream team that I've been lucky enough to recruit at Diamond, then I hope your business will fly just like ours is.
The fabulous Kate Lester, and really an inspirational programme. If you do get a chance, do go to the website, businessconnectionslive.com, where you can see all the shows in their entirety. Now, setting goals for your business is pretty important, isn't it?
It certainly is. And we had Dickson in earlier on this year. He's been on the programme a couple of times, but he came in to talk about systems, strategies and tactics. And he was looking at the way that you set your business up initially before you run with it. And it was a really interesting programme. And what a nice man. And a speaker around the UK as well. So if you get the chance to see him, you should.
He really is very good indeed. The name, as we said, is Ian Dickson.
My name is Ian Dickson. I am a business performance coach and motivational speaker. I am here today to share with you I've been here today to share with some very simple tips on goal setting. So remember 99 plan A's, so is that it's movable. Don't always cast it in stone. In fact, never cast it in stone. Get somebody to keep you accountable. You might have a positive cherub on one shoulder and a negative on the other, but have somebody stood behind you kicking you up the jacksie to make sure you get those things done. Make sure they're believable. Set yourself 3 big goals for the year. Write down 5 reasons for each goal, 5 whys you want to achieve that goal, and then 10 things on each to get you started. What else could I tell you about goals? So make sure they're believable. I've already shared. Keep them positive. So never set a negative goal. I think that from a goal setting perspective, that's probably about it. And the only other really big takeaway today, which I think we touched on towards the end of today's show, was this whole thing about living in the information age, is to go away, sit in front of YouTube or TED or some other platform and learn about communication. It's such an incredibly powerful tool. We live in the information age. So thoroughly enjoyed the show. Business Connections Live, over 100 shows, I think, just coming up. So
coming up, not far away.
My God, over 100 hours of business content. Where else would you get it? So an amazing back catalogue. So thank you very much for inviting me on the show. My name is Ian Dickson, business coach and speaker. Thank you.
You know, he said, right, actually now there's over 150 hours of content available for you, free content, if you are a small to medium scale enterprise, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, or you're thinking about growing your business and you just need some advice from the experts, then you can go to the Business Connections Live website and you can get everything you need there. Everything from social media all the way through to funding. It's all there. It's absolutely fantastic. It was interesting there actually as well, Linda, wasn't it, that he was talking a little bit about TED, and TED is a fantastic resource if you want to see keynote speakers and you want to get further information as well, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's definitely a go-to place, but not unlike our programme, of course.
Exactly. It's a very go-to place, and it is exactly just like Business Connections Live, a go-to location on the internet for that information that you know. Now, we've been looking at Periscope this year, and of course there's a lot of businesses out there that are trying to implement Periscope into their social media campaigns. Have you played with Periscope yet at all?
I have, and I think one of the most enjoyable times for us was when we had Peter Stewart on the programme talking about Periscope, but we were also periscoping while we were filming.
It was probably one of the most complicated programmes we'd ever done. We were effectively doing two shows at the same time, one for our audience, you, and the other one was for our audience on Periscope. We had people watching us from all around the world. I think the thing that really excited me, we had one guy who was watching us from Hawaii.
Yes.
And so we said on air, we said, tell us, what's the weather like? And he said,
it was wonderful.
Yes, and raining. So, just going to show you. So Periscope, is it something you should be implementing into your business? Well, Peter Stewart thinks it is.
So what you've got to remember, first of all, is that it's a broadcast TV station in your pocket, number one. Two, it's really, really easy to use. You can get 274 pages like this and you can dig down a little bit deeper. But you can use some basic things like a tripod or the external mic, which we showed you a little bit earlier on. Plan your scopes so you know what you're saying, how long it is going to be. Don't forget the value that you're on two platforms, two social media platforms at exactly the same time. You're on Periscope, but also the power of Periscope is that you're also on Twitter as well. So you're doubling your potential exposure. Don't forget about relationship building. We haven't quite done it on the scopes we've been doing because we're in a slightly different environment, but welcoming people, saying hello to them, using their name, asking questions and getting them to respond, and them asking you questions and you responding as well. It's about the added value that it can give. It's about Stop me when you've heard too much. I could go on for a long time. It's about all the extra added value. It's behind the scenes. It's maybe interviewing other people. It's showing things that people don't normally get to see when they're using or following you on other platforms.
I thought it was great.
It was fantastic. So that was Peter Stewart with Periscope, and if you haven't caught up with Periscope yet, catch that programme because he's got a lot of information there that will help you.
Very interesting actually. If you're watching very closely on the screen, at the end you may remember I was holding my phone and then we were able to take a shot of what my phone was receiving at the time, and popping up at the bottom was a little message from somebody saying watching both the live programme and also watching you on Periscope. And it was Nicky Kriel who was actually doing that. And of course, Nicky Kriel is a big social media expert, isn't she?
She most certainly is, and she's the next person that we're actually going to be looking at. She's looking at the social media minefield, and she's also the author of Twitter for Business, so you can catch her book as well. But take a look at this.
Hi, I'm Nicky Kriel. I'm a social media coach, trainer, and author of How to Twitter for Business Success. I inspire businesses to actually start using social media more strategically, because quite often businesses will start on social media, have an account and not know what they're doing with it. I think it's very important to have your business objective firmly in place, know who your customers are, and go in with a different objective, with your business hat on when you're using social media. And in terms of what we were talking about today with social selling, that social selling is not necessarily selling directly on social media. It's using social media as a way to get 360-degree understanding of who your customers are. So when you talk to people face to face, you have an inkling of what they're about, and you can actually find out all the background information about them, so that it's not a cold call, and that people are coming to you, or you're attracting the right people because of what you put on your profiles. Because obviously, if somebody comes to you, that's the best and the easiest way to do business. And I personally don't like going out and selling. I don't think of myself as a salesperson, but I like it when people come to me and ask me to do business with them. And ideally, that's what I want for the businesses that I work with, because I think social media can definitely help almost all small businesses to level the playing field and be able to compete without spending a fortune.
So that was Nicky Kriel talking about the minefield that is social media.
It was a great show. Now, you're our big social media king here. You're forever on the Twitter. Yeah. And the thing that's interesting about it is that isn't something that you had any interest in doing before we started the programme. And you've learnt a lot, haven't you?
I've learnt an awful lot, and also from Nicky and from Nicky's book as well. And it's taken me a while, but I'm actually getting into the swing of it now.
You are watching our New Year special, where we're looking back at some of the guests that have been on Business Connections Live over the past 12 months. Great information. If you want to watch any of the shows, you can go to businessconnectionslive.com and you'll find them there. We've got more for you in just a few moments' time. Hello there, you're watching Business Connections Live. My name's Steve Hyland, and today I'm joined by Linda Bazant, who is our executive producer, but also, more importantly, she's a co-owner as well of Business Connections Live. It's lovely to have your company with us today. Happy New Year to you.
And a Happy New Year to you too, Steve.
It really is interesting as we look back at the different guests that we've had on the programme, and of course, you work with a lot of our guests pre-show. You find out what they're going to be talking about. And I think the thing that's been really interesting is the number of different guests that we've had on who look at sales and the different techniques that they use. Now, Michael Graham was one guy. He was very traditionally sales technique, but we've had the likes of Paul Glynn on the programme, Antonio Falco on the programme, all of them very different in their own way.
They all have a different approach, and that's what's interesting for everybody, because we all have a different approach to business. So to be able to choose the salesperson that we most gel with, I think is very useful to people.
What's the most important thing, do you think, that you're looking for when you're talking to our guests? What do they need to be good at or bad at? What's the most important criteria?
Most important criteria is the fact that they obviously know what they're talking about. That's the most important thing, and that they are eloquent and able to get across the subject to our viewers.
Now, we always say that sales is the cornerstone of any business. Of course it is. If you make no sales, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And as Linda's just alluded, you know, we've had a number of different people who have come on and talked about sales over the last 12 months, in fact, over the last 2 years. And maybe the different techniques that we've shown you, one of them is going to be right for you. This was a really interesting programme. Michael Graham was the guy's name, and he really was one of those, you know, get out there, build a business kind of sales guys. Really inspiring when we came to meet him as well. And I think you'll find him inspiring right now on this edition of Business Connections Live.
Perfect. Steve, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. So my name's Michael. I'm one of 3 senior partners at MJB Graham Limited. We're an international sales consultancy. And I guess the 4 main things we spoke about with Steve today was the attitude. You've got to make sure your attitude's in the right mindset. Your strategy, your sales strategy, are you getting in front of the right type of people? Your sales process, are you guiding those people in the right way? And your pitch, are you saying the right things to people at the right times to get them impulsed and motivated in what you do? And just by learning those simple 4 things, I'll give you an example. We've taken clients like Hannah Shu. She runs a company called Exceptional Consultancy, and she went from 3 clients a month, so turning over roughly just under 2 grand, to 35 clients a month. She's turning over at the moment an exceptional amounts higher than what she was before. She's hiring people, and what we do is every quarter we run a quarterly seminar called our Supercharge Your Sales, and I'd like to invite you all from there. Give us a call. The number is 0203 195 2888, and what we do is we meet at the Kensington Close Hotel in High Street, Kensington, and 100 business owners. We all get in the room, we run through those 4 key things: attitude, strategy, process, pitch, for 1 whole day, so you can take it away and you can implement it in your business and get the changes you guys deserve.
So that was Michael Graham talking to us about sales. And also on the programme, we've been talking about SEOing your website, which is a huge minefield for people. We had Andy Williams on the programme talking about SEO, but he was talking about the way that the rules change by the likes of Google, for example, and how you can keep up with those changes.
So I am Andy Williams, not the Andy Williams, the other Andy Williams from Andy Williams SEO Limited. And some of the key takeaways I think that you need to look into if you're going to carry out your own SEO, if you haven't got time to hire an individual like myself or an agency, then what you need to do is that the SEO landscape has changed a bit, so you need to know exactly what Google is expecting from you. So make sure you're up to date with all the Google updates. There are plenty of blog posts that are out there. The main ones to look out for, of course, are Penguin, Panda, Pigeon, and of course the recent mobile update. It's important you understand what they're about so that you can move forward from those. It's also important that you understand what Google is expecting from you. So make sure you do your research into that as well. Once you've done that and you're in a position where you can actually start your SEO, then the key places you need to look on page are your title tag, your meta description, your H headings, the image alt tags, and also the content as well. Make sure the content is of a very, very high quality. Make sure when people come to your pages, they know exactly what you want them to do. If you're selling a product, then sell the product. If you're offering information, then offer the information. But don't fill that space with information that is going to waste their time, or else they will just move elsewhere. And make sure you've got your name and your address and also your phone number on pretty much all your pages. A really good place to put this is in the footer of your site as well, so that information can then also be fed in from a local SEO point of view. And make sure you look into the technical SEO side of things as well, which is a whole different subject. But if your site isn't technically sound, then you could be holding yourself back. So make sure you look into those areas and you're off to a good start.
As Andy Williams, you may see Andy Williams, you're obviously going to be familiar with the name. I mean, Andy Williams, of course, a great singer, rest his soul, because he has passed away. But that one is our SEO expert. But you may also find Andy on stage in your local area, because he does a stand-up routine as well. Bit of a comedian on the side. Some people say he does that in business as well. The nice thing about Andy, of course, is he also SEOs our website too.
He does, and an
so
excellent job.
Andy Williams is a real good guy. He's one of the good guys that are out there, and he really did explain what was going on when it comes to SEO, didn't he?
Yes, he did, especially with the way that you can actually increase the ranking of your site on the likes of Google and so on, and also the importance of local SEO. That's vitally important.
It really is. You're watching Business Connections Live. It's our New Year special. We're looking back at some of the guests that we've had over the past 12 months or so. One of the guests that we had was a guy called Richard Tideman, who came in the studio. I've known Richard for a long time, going back to our radio days together. I was going pop-a-diddle-doo on the radio, and Richard was one of the guys behind the scenes who was creating the advertising that you would hear on the station. Now, of course, things changed. He went off. He had a big London agency that he ran and then sold it. So well done to him. But a real expert when it comes to getting your message out there to the public. If you are a business, does radio work for small businesses? Does television advertising work for small businesses? How do the two work together? How does it work with print advertising? We looked at the entire landscape of advertising out there. It was a fascinating show. If you've always thought to yourself, you know, I'd love to hear, is it a vanity thing? I'd love to hear the name of my business on the radio. But would it work for you? Well, that was the question that we posed to Richard. Would radio advertising or TV advertising work for your business?
I'm Richard Tideman. I now work in the city for Cloisters Capital, but I've formerly been 20 years in advertising and judged on most of the awards boards. I've won multiple awards. And I would say this to you, I have seen advertisers work, and I've seen advertisers literally become millionaires as a result of their advertising activity. And what you do has a huge bearing on your personal wealth and your company wealth. So I would give a few simple guides. Number one is, can advertising work for you? Yes, it can. But first of all, distill what you do into a tweet. Give it a one-directional proposition, which is your "will you marry me" proposition. Number two is decide what media you're going to use. And I said media, not medium.
Because the important thing to know is that to just use one medium is probably not as powerful as to use multiple. So choose a multiple campaign and then test. Test, test, test. See what's working and then amplify what's working and discard what's not working. The next thing to do is make an offer, price your offer, give a call to action, give urgency, and most importantly, repeat it, because repetition builds reputation. Remember that digital is not the be-all and end-all. It's a very powerful medium, but there are others out there too. And there's a reason why the big guys are on the other media. So follow the big guys and copy what they do as well.
So, Richard Tideman, talking about radio advertising then, which was very interesting. And of course, we also spoke earlier about social media. But how do you schedule that social media? Because constantly trying to do Twitter, Facebook and so on, it's an absolute nightmare. So we had Dan Spicer in talking about Hootsuite and how you can schedule all of your social media messages.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Spicer. Hopefully you tuned in. If not, you've caught me right at the end, but I'm Dan Spicer. I head up the EMEE community team at Hootsuite. Hootsuite are effectively the world's most widely used social relationship dashboard, which allows you to integrate all of your social networks into one web and mobile dashboard. What it does is allow you to save time. It allows you to automate some processes, such as content publishing, to allow you to then spend time in the most valuable place, which is having a conversation with your customers, your prospects, your partners, and your potential fans. If I was going to give you 3 takeaways from a social strategy, social media perspective, I would say number 1, respect the platform. Really do your research to understand the benefits of each individual platform. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest are the big ones and ones on everyone's tongues, but there are other platforms out there. I think the latest stat was there's over 450 platforms you can now use. So really understand the nuances of each of the platforms, do the research and work with the ones that will best allow you to meet and support your business goals. Number 2, I would think about your brand voice from a content marketing perspective, and really understand who you want to be and what persona, what your voice needs to be. And whenever you're creating content, we normally bucket them into 3 things. If your content can entertain, inspire, or educate, you'll be on a good path to allow it to engaging your fans and followers. And then finally, think about the 80-20 rule, the 80% engagement, 20% publishing rule. There's been lots of debate around whether those percentages are correct, but it gives you a steer in terms of thinking about how to use social media. 20% of your time should be looking at publishing content and pushing content. The other 80% engaging with the customers that you have, the fans that you have on social media. And don't be afraid to show a little bit of leg. Show your personality. We always say, we always like to call it the social media mullet. 80% engagement and party at the back, 20% business at the front. So make sure actually you are not being afraid to use social media, not being afraid to show your personality, and have those conversations. Engage with people, because that's what people want to use social media for.
That's Dan Spicer from Hootsuite. If you go to our website, you can also sign up on our website. We'll give you a free video that shows you and introduces you to the dashboard. You're watching our New Year special from us here at Business Connections Live. Hello there, welcome back. You're watching Business Connections Live. It is our New Year special. My name's Steve Hyland, and today I'm joined by Linda Bazant, the executive producer and also co-owner of Business Connections Live. And we're having a real hoot. We're looking back, aren't we, at the last 12 months, the guests that we've had on the show. We've had some fantastic guests. If you're a small business owner, this is the place to come when you're looking for information to succeed in business. Now, customer relationship management, there's a big CRM, frightening area, I think, for some people, isn't it?
It's a frightening area, and also it's surprising how many people have heard the term CRM but really don't know what that means.
That's right. What it can effectively do, it can give you another helping pair of hands. Now, there are loads of big systems out there, and we mention them all in the complete programme if you want to find out more about them. But there is a UK-based company, and they have produced something that is straightforward and easy to use, that is going to give you maximum return. CRM, customer relationship management, it's all about being able to automate what you send out in your emails, put email advertising campaigns together, just to continue to communicate with your customer base, with your client base, just to get messages out there. Now, of course, some people will use it as spam. We're not talking about that. We're talking about doing this intelligently and raising the amount of information you get out there so you can increase your sales to your customers. It was a great show. I love the whole concept of CRM, and to tell us from Intouch CRM was James White.
Great stuff. Well, I'm James White. I'm as I say, the founder of Intouch CRM. And one of the reasons that I'm here is I'm passionate about small businesses and helping small businesses grow. And I certainly believe that as any small business owner, that you want to be successful, you want to ensure that your business is growing. And whether it's Intouch or any other systems that you use, I think you can get there by using systems effectively to not only save you time, to replicate, to save you having to do tasks and repeat on an ongoing basis, but also to follow up on business, to make those new business opportunities happen by closing more deals. And we get to the stage of closing more opportunities by being able to be in a position to remind ourselves to follow up on an ongoing basis. That's the thing I've learned in my career, that invariably it's that activity and that want to actually achieve something and to continue to follow up that's key. So we'd welcome the chance to talk to you about what we do at Intouch. But again, even if you're looking at using any form of system, I'd certainly say the best businesses that I'm talking to at the moment, the ones that are growing the most most quickly, are using business automation to help them accelerate their growth. And we help with an Automate to Accelerate review, and we'd love to do that with you. So if you're interested in what we can do and how CRM and customer relationship management and business automation can help you grow, take a look at our website at intouchcrm.com, or give me or one of my team a call, and we'd love the chance to talk about your small business and helping you achieve your objectives.
Yeah, that was James White, founder of Intouch CRM. And on the programme over the past year, we've also had some people on that are entrepreneurs. We've had people on from various businesses that teach you separate issues like social media, Hootsuite and so on. But some of these people that we've had on have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they just come in and they give us the benefit of some of their experience. So we had Will King in, King of Shaves. Here's what he had to say.
That's great. Hi, my name's Will King. I founded King of Shaves back in 1993, and I shave lives. I've done about 7 billion so far and counting. So in terms of business, look, the world we live in now, it's a very fast world, and it's very judgmental. It's what I call a rate or slate environment. So please, if you're starting a business up, make sure it's a great business, and make sure you think through why you're doing it, what your passion is, what the problem is you're solving, what the services you're providing, and why people should part with their hard-earned spends, their pounds, to spend money with you. Second thing is, impossible is nothing, just do it. I meet so many people who just talk about wanting to be an entrepreneur, call them entrepreneurs, and then don't do it. Now, fine, talk about it, but if you're serious about it, do it. Secondly, learn how to transfer your enthusiasm for what you do and why you're doing it. We live in a world now where trust and authenticity and reputation is absolutely key. Now, if you put a person behind the brand, you'll note there's DNA in the word brand, person, a bit of humanity. You can then hopefully leverage some of your skills through your business, product, service out to the end customer. Give it a face. That's why Branson's so successful. That's why Sugar's so successful. That's why Steve Jobs was so successful at Apple, because they projected out what they were doing and why through their brand. When it comes to then money and people and scaling your business, there are lots and lots of alternative finance channels available now for you to raise money. You might use Kickstarter, you might use Indiegogo, you might use Crowdkey, you might use venture founders, you might use seeders, for example, many people do. But when you're raising money, remember that it's just as easy for other people to raise money as well, so make sure your product's great. And then the key thing when you're scaling your business, it's the velocity, it's the momentum. You've got to go very quickly from it being you to what's called delegating. That's delegating to great people. So the CEO of King of Shaves, a guy called Andy Hill, he joined me 20 years ago. He's now my CEO. And I delegated to him, delegated to him within a year and a half, 2 years of setting up the business. And we scaled the team out from there. As fast as you are and as much as you know you can do in the world, there's only one of you, and there's probably only 12 to 18 working hours in a day. So if you want to get bigger, you need to get more people involved in your vision and go out there. And at the end of the day, it's all about embracing change as a constant, being aware of threats coming down the track, always being there for people when you can be. Use as much social media channel as you can. That just puts a humanity to the brand. That's why I used to and still do co-tweet at King of Shaves on Twitter, or I am William King on Twitter there. And then I blog at Brand Royalty. So put out the content about your business and why people should even give you the time of day. And if they do, you never know, your clock might start ticking.
Will King, the King of Shaves. Now, there's a man that built a company from just a great idea. He built it and built it and built it, and then eventually sold it. And you may come across his products in the high street. Even still, he's still got involvement with the business, but a real insight into how you go about. I think it's tenacity, isn't it, that you need. Remember, we once had Brad Burton on the programme, didn't
Yes,
we?
we did.
And he said that a lot of businesses where they fail, it's no check, no check, no check, no check, no check, no check. And then at that point they go, do you know what, I can't go on any longer, I'm just going to give up.
And then that close from payday.
That's right. And then all of a sudden it's payday, and then the business starts to fly. And I think that is something that Will even said. It was all about working hard. And I think sometimes when we see these entrepreneurs, when they come in, we think to ourselves that they're overnight successes. You know, yesterday they had nothing, they thought of an idea, they started a business, and all of a sudden they're reeling in the millions. And that really, in many respects, isn't the case. We started the show with Kate Lester. Now, Kate Lester has really been through it, and there she is now looking at a £40 million turnover business because of that entrepreneurial tenacity. And I think that we all need that. And I suppose the other thing as well is you just mustn't give up.
No, you mustn't. You've got to keep going. And I think some people give up just a little bit too early. And we know it's tough and we know it's hard, but you really have got to just keep going.
If you've ever seen that film, Never Give Up, Never Surrender. That's what you've got to remember as well. It really is that much. OK, you're watching Business Connections Live, and a very happy new year to you. We're looking back at some of the guests that we've had on the programme. On this particular programme that we were going to be looking at now, we were talking about seed funding, how you go about doing that. And a gentleman called Andrew Weaver from a business called Lawyer Fair, he joined us on the programme. We'd met him before when he was talking about the concept of his programme. Then he came back on the show to explain how he went about funding it and what seed funding, the trials and tribulations of seed funding can be. This is Andrew Weaver.
Hi, Andrew Weaver from Lawyer Fair, and I've had a great chat with Steve Hyland about raising seed capital. The important things to remember and take away are why you're raising it, what is the purpose for it, and make sure that you understand what the route map might be. Don't underestimate the time and the disruption to your own business. Try and operate your business on a very lean basis, because not only do you need to learn from the market and be able to develop from that, but it'll also show in the eyes of the investors how you think. And basically it's about a story. It's about not what you do, but why you do it. And those are the key factors to take to an investor. And if you've got the right team, product, and there's an opportunity there, I'm sure you'll be able to raise the cash.
So he's sure you can raise the cash, and if you are looking, maybe that's what you're going to be doing this year in 2016. You're going to be raising cash for that dream, for that business that you're going to be building and growing in 2016. It is interesting when you do look at some of the people that do invest in companies. I think somebody came up with that statistic, didn't they? Where you get the investors, they come in, and off 10 companies, every 10 companies they invest in, they expect 9 of them to disappear and go down the pan.
That's very true.
All right, now, who we got next, Lynn?
So next we've got Nicky Butlin, and she came in to talk to us about franchising. So once you've built your business and you're happy with it, you may want to take it nationally or even internationally. And Nicky was here to tell us how.
I'm Nicky Butlin from Athena Business Services, and I provide franchise consultancy to businesses that are looking to take their core business through to franchise launch. The big takeaways that I can offer you are really do your homework in the first instance, research your own industry and research the franchise market as well, so who else is out there doing a similar thing to you. and just do your homework, put lots of planning in. Don't stint on spending the money at the early stages, because it's pretty much guaranteed that it'll come back to bite you in the end. So do your homework.
I do hope that you do get the opportunity to watch some of these programs. Nicky Butlin there talking about how to go about franchising your business, and we take you through all the steps that are important to franchise a business and to get it out there, and to maybe that's your development, that's how you grow your particular business. And we were talking just a moment or so ago about Kate Lester. That's exactly what she's doing with her business. So, you know, lots of different entrepreneurs have come on the programme. I think it's interesting when you're out there, there are a lot of pub room experts, aren't there?
Yes, there are.
But what you do see on the show is you do see people that have actually gone out there and have done the walk, don't you?
They have done it, and they are actually here to give you the benefit of their experience.
And that's what it's about, the benefit. Where else can you go to get this kind of information easily and straightforward from the horse's mouth, effectively? We're looking back at our guests, our special guests that we had over 2015. Hope you're enjoying the show. You're watching Business Connections Live. Hello, you're watching Business Connections Live. Great to have your company, and can we wish you all a very happy new year. My name's Steve Hyland. With me, I have our co-owner and also executive producer of Business Connections Live, Linda Bazant. I suppose a lot of people, when they watch programs like this, they think to themselves that it's just the guy in front of the camera that's doing all the work. And in fact, all the work is done behind the scenes, isn't it?
It certainly is, and it may be quite interesting for people to find out what goes on behind the scenes, and maybe that's something for a later programme.
A later programme. I suppose someone we've got to thank for last year for all the hard work that he put into it is also our director, who works with us each and every week to put the programs together. Sometimes we'd like to hit him, but most of the time he does a good job, to Gordon Bruff. So thank you very much to Gordon, who sits behind the control panel pressing the buttons. And we'd like to thank our cameramen and also our runners and all the rest of our production team, who are just, quite frankly, too numerous to mention. So we'd like to thank all of them and wish them all a very, very happy and prosperous 2016. OK, let's go back to the guests, our special guests that we had over 2015, over the 12 months that the programme was on last year. And we're going to be talking now to a gentleman called Warren Knight. Now, if you've heard of Warren Knight, you may have seen him doing a number of keynotes up and down the country. A real insight. He's a great speaker. And there are a lot of speakers out there that can do the talk, but trust me, can't do the walk. Warren is the full package. He can do it all, can't he?
He certainly can.
He is a really, really great guy. Warren Knight, now, he was on the programme. He was talking, I've got to put the glass on, getting old. He was talking about understanding your strengths to building the right team around you and knowing the different platforms, social networks, and also the right digital tools to use in your business.
Hi, I'm Warren Knight. I am the author of Think Digital First, and I'm an SME growth coach. I think the three key things for me to be able to help you is actually the first one being you. Focus on you, own your time. It's okay to say no. If a meeting's not going to get you to the point that's going to help you grow your business, it's okay to say no and stay focused on the things that are the intelligent things that are going to drive the business forward. The second thing for me is really know technology, because the technology process can help you save time, it can help you grow your audience and your database, and get it to be focused on sales and marketing. So use the tools that are out there that are going to help you market the business, i.e. promote it, like Hootsuite, and actually then use the tools that are going to help you through that sales process, i.e. MailChimp, for instance, or some of the other ones that we've spoken about today. They're going to take people through the sales process, so the customer acquisition journey. And the third thing is just do it. Get up and do it. Don't worry about being perfect. Just get out there and do it and learn from your mistakes. So I'm Warren Knight. Thank you very much.
So that was Warren Knight telling you to get up and do it, and quite right too. Also, on your smartphone, you've now got apps, and apps can actually help you with your sales and your marketing. They're an excellent tool for you to use. And we had Richard Eaton in the studio to tell us exactly how you can use them for your business.
My name is Richard Eaton from Appware, where we develop and design amazing award-winning mobile apps for smartphones. If you just want some help and advice, then get in touch with me. The best way to do that is to look on our website, appware.co.uk. As we mentioned earlier, we have some off-the-shelf products and there are others coming. At the minute, it's for restaurants, cafes, bars, that kind of stuff. If you're interested in that, take a look at makemyrestaurantapp.com. And that's it, I think, Steve.
Actually, we show you that app on the entire programme. And I said to Richard at the time, I said, look, we're thinking about having an app done. Well, what do you think, Richard? And Richard said to us, actually, probably for what you're doing, there's no need for you to actually have an app. And I think that's what I liked about it. Now, we've got other programmes as well when it comes to the development and apps for your business. If you go to the website at businessconnectionslive.com, you'll find some of those additional programmes there. I'm Steve Hyland, joined today by Linda Bazant, the executive producer of the program, and also co-owner of Business Connections Live. Now, if you're in business, cash flow, we talk about sales sometimes as being the cornerstone, but cash flow is pretty important too. Many a business has been, well, relatively successful has disappeared because its cash flow has got out of hand. If you know the money's coming, sometimes it can be coming a little bit too late. So how do you bridge those gaps? Who do you talk to maybe get the cash to come in to fund your business, to pay your staff, to pay your suppliers? Where do you go? How do you get through those cash flow problems? John Davies from Just Cash Flow, he came in on the program and explained a few alternatives and a few ways that you can keep your business running smoothly, keep those gear wheels of business well oiled with his business called Just Cash Flow. Camera number one is all yours.
Camera number one. So good evening. So it's John Davies of Just Cash Flow PLC. I am the marketing director of the company, and therefore my job is to make sure people understand what we do and why we do it. If you are a company in the UK, you are looking to grow the business or feel you can grow the business, then you should talk to us. If you are looking for funding, we always recommend, if you can, don't borrow. But the reality is, if you do need to borrow, perhaps try your bank first, because that would be your better way of doing it. You may decide perhaps crowdfunding or peer-to-peer lending is the way forward for yourself. Terrific, but that takes time, and perhaps you may want to talk to us in the meantime to fund you until you particularly get to that position. What is good for you then is that if you are working with us, we'll actually provide you with a referral or recommendation. Remember the good old days of a testimonial for your bank manager? And that's what we provide to your possible new lender as well. We are very keen to support proper businesses. We're very keen to provide entrepreneurs within the UK, but it's entrepreneurs with a solid business platform, not people who are just wishfully thinking they've got a good idea and therefore people will send them loads of money for doing that. We like good old-fashioned businesses, engineering companies, people who are employing people responsibly and looking to be part of their community, because that's where ultimately the growth will come from within the UK. And if we can be part of that, then we've done our job and we'll do our best to do that. So thank you for listening.
That's John Davies there from Just Cash Flow. That's a really interesting program. If you do find your business in that particular situation, then what I do suggest to you is watch that program. It'll give you some indication, some insight into maybe how you can get your business and just oil those wheels of commerce and make certain that your business is still a success. Now, we have a lot of relationships with a number of the different networking organisations that are out there, and we've barely touched on networking on this particular show, but it is an important part of business, isn't it?
It's a very important part of business, and it's part of trust. An awful lot of what we've done today has been about social media and about sales, but networking is really vitally important. So whenever you're meeting people, instead of just selling to them, get to know them, find out about them. It's all about relationships and trust.
Well, hello everyone. Warren Cass from Business Scene. That's www.business-scene.com. And I'll share with you a couple of quick points on networking, just to summarise the networking aspect of it. So you may be looking to start a business, you may already be running a business, but the quality of the company you keep, your credibility by association is really, really important. And building a network that does much more than perhaps give you a potential source of leads, but one that helps you filter the bad ideas from the good, one that perhaps gives you some sanity when you're dealing with issues within the business. and the friendships that can come from it will be very, very powerful for you moving forward. My suggestion is that you go out and find a networking group or two that suit you well, but commit to them and do them regularly rather than going to lots and lots of places once, because we're moving away from shallow relationships to deeper trusted relationships. While you're there, think strategically about the type of people you want to develop those relationships with. So, who's more aligned, who has a similar client base, or and maybe is in an industry that kind of relates. And spend some time with those and get to know them offline as well. The thing about most networking and where most people fail is when it comes to the follow-up. Follow-up is incredibly important. Again, if you promise to do something and don't do it, it can be damaging for your reputation. Trust me, I know from personal experience, when you become incredibly busy and don't get around to following up on one of those two things, it can be damaging. So make sure you've got a system. I like to write on people's business cards. So if I've obligated to do something, I'll write on that and I'll try and make a point of getting it done within the couple of days beyond the event. And the reason for that is quite simply, money loves speed. The longer you leave it, the colder the lead gets, and the worse that's going to be for you. Whilst at the networking event, though, as I say, think strategically and remember there's an etiquette to it. So don't just come into an event and interrupt people's conversations, or if people are closed body language, leave them alone. They're probably having a serious conversation. You're actually interrupting, and your first impression will be one that's rude. So look for open body language and always take that one step back from the group and make eye contact with the person who's speaking. They will naturally pause in their conversation and invite you in, and at that point make sure you talk to everybody, that you're inclusive. And my last point from a networking is about being interested, not interesting. The best way you can accelerate the whole rapport process is ask lots of questions and be really interested in people. It makes a far better impression.
We also had Steve Mills on the programme over the past year, and before he's been on the programme talking about a masterclass in LinkedIn. But the last time that he was on, he was talking about how to brand your business and how to support your brand. And he was trying to say that you can't just put your product out there and just give people a list of reasons why they should buy it. You've actually got to position that brand and make your brand the natural choice for people to come to. And here he is talking about that.
Thank you, Steve. My name's Steve Mills. I'm the Prudent marketer. I help businesses to market themselves more prudently. I really hope that you take note and action based on those 5 key principles, the 5 C's. If you do, you're going to grow your business. If you need help with this, I'm just putting together a 5-month process based on the 5 C's. So if you want to know more, you can go to my website, which is theprudentmarketer.com, or you can call me on 01256 345 556. I'll be more than happy to have a no obligation conversation about how I might be able to help you to go exponential.
Hope you've enjoyed our look back at 2015, and can we wish all businesses a very successful 2016.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you all again in 2016 with some more experts and speakers who can assist you in building your business.
From all the team here at Business Connections Live, we'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.